They say the records of the ancestral court rarely speak of failure, yet here, amid the scorched peaks of the 100,000 Black Mountains, the chronicles tremble. Tales of Herding Gods, chapter 1365, opens with Long Xiao's 9 heads stirring in the back of the ancestral court, a god subdued neither by fear nor reason, his immense body a city of living beasts. Shu Jun, Lan Yutian, Shenghua, and the venerable first ancestor find themselves ensnared within a cage not of iron, but of divine consciousness, every breath a reminder of their peril. And yet, from the shadows of destruction, Qin Mu emerges, a solitary figure stepping into the very heart of this lethal prison, measuring its boundaries with an audacity that belies mortality. The whispers of the Supreme Emperor and the Earth Mother stir like a storm on the horizon, and the delicate balance of life, death, and dominion teeters as ancient powers awaken. Now as roots coil and sacrificial altars ignite with divine runes, a question hangs in the air, heavier than any sword. Can one mortal's cunning outmatch the will of gods? Imagine facing a being so overwhelmingly powerful that even the mightiest heroes of your world are reduced to pawns in its divine game. That is the chilling reality our heroes confront in this chapter, as Long Xiao, an ancient, 9-headed beast of unfathomable cultivation, reveals the true weight of his dominion. At the heart of the ancestral court, a group of legendary figures, Shu Jun, Lan Yutian, Shenghua, and the venerable human emperor known as the first ancestor, find themselves ensnared in a cage not of iron, but of spiritual force. This is no ordinary confinement. Long Xiao's divine sense is so potent that it bends reality itself, materializing a prison out of nothingness. Every movement, every attempt to escape, is anticipated and countered by the beast's overwhelming perception. The scenario is a brutal reminder. Power in the Xianxia world is not just about raw cultivation, but control over the very fabric of consciousness. What makes this confrontation truly fascinating isn't just the physical threat, it's the hierarchy of skill and insight on display. Even the top-tier heroes of eternal peace, veterans of countless battles and masters of divine consciousness, find their abilities dwarfed by Long Xiao's godlike presence. Their confidence, once bolstered by centuries of experience and access to extraordinary cultivation techniques, crumbles when faced with a force that transcends ordinary comprehension. Yet within this desperation lies a spark of hope and intrigue. Shenghua and Lan Yutian, though initially overwhelmed, reveal exceptional resilience. Their brief resistance catches Long Xiao's attention, not for their cultivation alone, but for the latent potential in their unique abilities. This moment elegantly illustrates a recurring theme in wuxia storytelling. Sometimes true strength is recognized not by what one has mastered, but by the hidden depth of one's talent and the promise of what could be. The narrative also delves into Long Xiao's own grand strategy. Unlike a mere predator, he is a long-term planner. Observing the cracks in his captive's resistance, he envisions a future where Shenghua and Lan Yutian grow into cosmic-level forces, mounts for the celestial game he is orchestrating across worlds. Here, the story elevates beyond a simple clash. It becomes a study in ambition and foresight. Long Xiao is not only consolidating immediate power, he is weaving a multiverse-scale chessboard, ensuring that the tides of heaven, earth, and countless other worlds eventually bend to his design. But our heroes are far from helpless. The first ancestor demonstrates a keen understanding of the spiritual mechanics at play. The cage is not static, it shifts, warps, and attempts to assimilate his body and spirit. Yet, through precise calculations and the extraordinary analytical prowess of Shenghua, who manipulates algebraic runes as though they were weapons, they begin to map the cage's limits. Lan Yutian's mastery of speed techniques, combined with these calculations, allows them to momentarily pierce the otherwise impenetrable barrier. This interplay between brute cultivation power and intellectual dexterity reinforces a core Xianxia concept. Raw might can dominate, but ingenuity and insight can level the playing field, at least temporarily. Emotionally, this chapter is a high-wire act. We witness Shu Jun and the other captives fear their reliance on Celestial Master Mu and the tension of being trapped by a consciousness that feels almost omniscient. Every breath, every heartbeat is laden with risk, underscoring the human vulnerability in the face of such overwhelming cultivation. And yet, In these moments of despair, the narrative plants seeds of hope and future conflict, reminding us that even in the shadow of godlike power, heroism and cunning retain their dramatic resonance. Finally, there's a subtle yet important commentary on cultivation systems themselves. The eternal peace method of divine consciousness cultivation has empowered mortals and immortals alike. But even this advanced system is not enough against a being like Long Xiao. It's a narrative masterstroke that emphasizes scale, showing us that the Xianxia cosmos operates in layers of power and intelligence far beyond immediate human understanding. It's a humbling reminder that for every peak of strength achieved, there exists a summit yet higher, an ancient force waiting to redefine the rules. So as our heroes cling to their fleeting victories inside the spiritual cage, we're left with an electrifying question. Can Celestial Master Mu truly turn the tide? Long Xiao's dominance is undeniable, his foresight terrifying, and his patience lethal. Yet, Xianxia legends are never without twists, where strategy, speed, and hidden potential intersect. Even the most formidable tyrant can meet a counter no one sees coming. The stage is set, and the coming clash promises not just a battle of strength, but a contest of minds, foresight, and destiny itself. Picture this. Atop the 100,000 black mountains, the air itself seems to hum with suppressed power. Our protagonist, Qin Mu, emerges from the void of his divine consciousness, opening his eyes with a weighty solemnity. In that instant, relief washes over his allies, Granny Si, Wei Suifeng, and the others. But just as the tension begins to ease, Granny Si delivers a sharp, grounding slap, a reminder that even in moments of victory, discipline and strategy still matter. Qin Mu's mind is already racing. Long Xiao, for all his overwhelming might, has yet to ascend to the realm of the 10 heavenly venerates. Yet his strength is terrifying, and the back of the ancestral court, rich with primordial treasures, presents a battlefield that could shift the balance of power. Qin Mu knows he cannot rely solely on brute force. This is a place where insight, cunning, and the subtleties of cultivation are just as lethal as raw strength. Here's where the story deepens. Shu Jun has brought a relic of unimaginable importance, the head of the Supreme Emperor, into this volatile mix. But this isn't the same head that heavenly venerate vast heaven holds as a supreme treasure. No, this is a corporeal manifestation, a shadow of the Supreme Emperor himself. Even a being as perceptive as Long Xiao may not detect its true nature. Qin Mu's gaze stretches toward Gao Qian Consort, one of the 10 heavenly venerates and a fragment of the Supreme Emperor's power. Her presence is no accident. She will not ignore the awakening chaos at the back of the ancestral court. This moment is a masterclass in Xianxia strategy. Qin Mu calculates every potential move. Qingqian Consort, the Empress herself, must have arrived. Her aim is clear: monopolize the resources of the back of the ancestral court by subduing Long Xiao. But entering this sacred space is no trivial matter. There are only 2 ways to bypass the ancestral court's sealed mysteries: through Qin Mu himself, or through the formidable divine arts of Earth Mother, Primordial Lord. It's a delicate game of intellect, power, and timing, and Qin Mu knows he has the edge in cunning, if not in raw might. Then comes the dramatic entrance. Empress Qing Tianfei arrives, her presence commanding attention without a word. No ordinary phoenix carriage, she rides a colossal ancestral beast, moving with speed and majesty that underscores her authority. The tension is palpable. Qin Mu greets her with a carefully measured respect, recognizing both her political power and her personal allure. Their exchange is subtle, yet loaded with historical weight. She knows of past conflicts, past betrayals, yet here she is, negotiating the entrance to the back of the ancestral court, her motives cloaked in charm and calculated indifference, and the stakes skyrocket. God Emperor Lang Xuan has captured Earth Mother Primordial Lord, intending to use her divine arts to reverse Qin Mu's own reverse summoning techniques. Lang Xuan's intellect is formidable, and though his direct might may not rival Long Xiao, the potential to weaken or even cripple Long Xiao before the decisive confrontation cannot be ignored. Qin Mu is caught between maneuvering for advantage and safeguarding the lives of his allies. This isn't just a battle of strength, it's a clash of strategy, of divine consciousness, and of destiny itself. Qin Mu's solution? A bold, intricate play. He prepares the reverse summoning divine art, subtly drawing in Granny C and the dragon Qilin, orchestrating the timing and positioning of allies to maximize control over this volatile battlefield. It's a dance of divinity, foresight and calculated risk. Every step, every choice matters. One miscalculation could trigger catastrophe, but Qin Mu thrives on these high-stakes gambits. In moments like these, we see the brilliance of wuxia storytelling, the combination of personal honor, cosmic power, and strategic ingenuity. Qin Mu is not merely reacting, he is shaping the battlefield itself, turning the very architecture of the ancestral court into an extension of his will. The tension isn't just about who strikes first, it's about who understands the rules of the universe well enough to bend them without breaking. So we leave this scene on a knife's edge. Supreme powers converge, hidden strategies weave into the mortal and immortal realms alike. And Qin Mu leads the charge into the unknown depths of the back of the ancestral court. The question hanging over this tale is electric. Who will emerge unscathed? And who will be the first to seize the ultimate advantage in a realm where even the air brims with the promise of divine wrath? The stage is set. The pieces are moving. And one thing is certain. The next chapter will not merely continue the story. It will redefine the balance of power in a world where gods and mortals alike are bound by cunning, courage, and the subtle art of survival. Imagine a battlefield where the very air seems to tremble, where ancient powers stir and the wills of gods collide. That is the stage we enter today, a confrontation that blends cunning strategy, raw power, and the inexorable weight of destiny. Granny C moves swiftly through this chaos, carrying a lantern of celestial origin, a treasure more potent than any ordinary heavenly venerate. This isn't just a light, it's a key, a vessel capable of traversing the impossible, linking distant palaces and heavenly courts. Her mission seems simple at first, deliver a message. But in this world, even a simple errand can tip the scales of cosmic conflict. As she crosses into the territory of divine Emperor Long Xiao, the scene reveals the staggering complexity of this universe. Roots and divine energies twist violently as a sacrificial altar takes shape, an altar not of worship, but of strategic manipulation. Here we glimpse the brilliance of heaven consort Qiang's foresight. Even emperors must reckon with the subtle genius of the venerates and their intricate use of divine mechanics. Granny C witnesses it all, recognizing the urgency. Some battles are too dangerous to observe from afar. When Granny C reaches heavenly venerate Gong, the tension escalates. There's no hesitation. Her words spark immediate action. Gong's response isn't just anger. It's the clarity of one who understands the stakes. Here we see the first lesson of this chapter. In Xianxia conflicts, wisdom and decisiveness can rival raw power. She moves to the ancestral court, where the dragon Qilin and the celestial assembly await. The scene is poised, charged with expectation, as Celestial Master Gong ascends the altar. Her presence alone commands respect, illustrating that true power often lies not in numbers, but in mastery of divine technique. Then comes the astonishing display of the reverse summoning divine art. This is no mere show of force. It's a cerebral battle, where spiritual senses are weaponized, twisted, and redirected to dominate a battlefield. Celestial Master Gong's ingenuity shines here. She doesn't rely on brute strength, but on a profound understanding of divine logic, using giant beasts as instruments to construct a summoning altar within the mind of the opponent. This reveals not only her strategic brilliance, but also her audacity. She rewrites the rules of engagement itself. The dragon Qilin, even in awe, acknowledges her mastery. It's a moment that underscores the recurring Xianxia theme. The mind can be as lethal as any sword or divine fist. Meanwhile, the colossal Long Xiao awakens. Picture him, 9 heads, a body rivaling celestial dukes, countless beasts living upon him as if he were a world unto himself. His awakening is apocalyptic, a sunrise of raw power, as every step ripples like earthquakes. But even he is unprepared for the sophistication of the reverse summoning art. Suddenly, his territory, the ultimate stronghold of brute strength, becomes a stage for another form of war, one fought with perception and spiritual force. This is where the narrative teaches us about balance. No matter how immense your cultivation or how indomitable your form, innovation can shatter dominance. The arrival of divine Emperor Long Xiao alongside Mother Earth Yuan Lord escalates the stakes to near mythical heights. The collision of divine wills, the formation of heavenly palaces, and the eruption of sacred energy illustrate how even immortals are bound by strategy and foresight. Qing Tianfei's commentary provides insight into the human element amid godly power, envy, ambition, and the relentless desire to claim what is rightfully yours, an emotional core that often drives cosmic events. As the battle unfolds, Long Xiao confronts the terrifying realization that sheer size and strength aren't enough. Every movement of the celestial venerates chips away at his advantage, their divine consciousness weaving traps around him. This sequence isn't just a physical struggle, it's an exposition of cultivation hierarchy, divine technique, and tactical adaptation. When Long Xiao finally attempts retreat, he encounters the true power of summoning divine arts. His mind's ensnared, his 9 heads overwhelmed. It's a humbling lesson in the limitations of even the most formidable beings. Finally, we see Qin Mu step forward, a figure embodying both calm and cunning. His presence in the aftermath of the spiritual cage is a narrative pivot, signaling hope, oversight, and reassurance amid chaos. It's a reminder that in these legends, the interplay between strategy, courage, and character insight often decides outcomes as much as raw divine ability. So what does this battle teach us? In the world of the herding gods, strength is multifaceted. Mastery over your environment, ingenuity in divine arts, and the psychological manipulation of allies and enemies alike can turn the tide more decisively than brute force. And as the dust settles, one question lingers for the audience. Who truly commands destiny when gods and mortals, strategy and power, collide on the stage of heaven and earth? Imagine a battlefield where the air itself seems to tremble under the weight of gods and monsters. In one corner, Long Xiao, a beast of legend with 9 snarling heads, struggles to control his own soul consciousness, teetering on the edge of losing himself entirely. Just as he prepares to unleash his devastating power, an unexpected force descends, a figure small in stature but immense in spiritual authority. This is no ordinary warrior. The aura, unmistakable and overwhelming, belongs to none other than Celestial Master Gong, one of the fabled godly monarchs among the 3 primordial kings. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Long Xiao, proud and ferocious, finds himself humiliated. His immense power, his 9 heads capable of shattering realms, is literally pressed down by this seemingly delicate figure, and yet he recognizes that this is no trivial opponent. Celestial Master Gong carries the same spiritual signature as the mighty godly monarch Gong Fu. This isn't just a clash of power, it's a collision of legacy, authority, and centuries of cultivation mastery. Before Long Xiao can fully react, Celestial Master Gong strategically abandons direct confrontation. This is an important detail. In high-level cultivation battles, knowing when not to force an outcome is as critical as knowing when to strike. She lashes out with her long whip, capturing concubine Chang Tian mid-assault, demonstrating precise control over both power and timing. Every move here is calculated. Gong leverages her position, disrupts enemy formations, and prepares openings for her allies. Meanwhile, Divine Emperor Lan Xuan faces his own trial. Beset by multiple formidable enemies, he channels his divine yuan with pinpoint accuracy, piercing layers of heavenly palaces and targeting his adversary's vital points. The scene is brutal, but it's also a showcase of strategy. A celestial battle isn't just raw power. It's positioning, timing, and exploiting the weaknesses in your enemy's cultivation path. Lan Xuan's precision attacks reveal both his skill and his ruthlessness, emphasizing that in this world, even family ties do not shield you from judgment or fate. And then the chaos escalates. Long Xiao, unable to maintain his composure, unleashes a frenzied assault. His 9 heads collide with Lan Xuan's primordial spirit, damaging the heavenly court itself. Here we see the narrative doubling down on high-stakes tension. Even an emperor-level cultivator can be physically overwhelmed when raw power intersects with strategic missteps. But just as Long Xiao seems poised to dominate, a twist occurs. The beast falters, scales shatter, and the battlefield erupts into an unpredictable melee. What makes this chapter so gripping is not just the spectacle of destruction, but the layered interplay of character dynamics. Celestial Master Gong's conflicted role as both mother and monarch adds emotional complexity. Her bitter laughter, her attempts to assert control, and the ultimate confrontation with her own child, Lan Xuan, underscore themes that run deep in Xianxia stories: loyalty, legacy, and the painful tension between filial duty and the pursuit of personal power. And then we pivot to Qin Mu, whose entrance into the divine consciousness cage transforms the narrative. Observers like Shu Jun and Lan Yutian, who have been cornered and desperate, suddenly witness a remarkable display of cultivation mastery. Qin Mu walks through what should be an impenetrable cage as though it were air, demonstrating the subtle brilliance of his understanding of divine arts. This moment isn't about brute force, it's about insight, timing, and mastery over the intangible. Here, the story teaches a core wuxia lesson. True strength often lies in intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to exploit even the slightest cracks in an opponent's technique. The dialogue, though indirect in our retelling, conveys both awe and reassurance. Allies exclaim at his reliability, while Qin Mu maintains calm, analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of Long Xiao's divine cage. He recognizes that while Long Xiao's cultivation approaches the level of a heavenly venerate, his art is rigid, locked into his own path, vulnerable to innovation. This strategic assessment highlights a key principle. In the world of gods and monsters, adaptability often trumps raw power. As the dust settles, we see the narrative threads weaving together. The battle above rages, fraught with mortal and immortal consequences, while below, Qin Mu's intervention shifts the tide. Lan Yutian's confidence grows, Shu Jun's relief is tempered by caution, and even Shenghua acknowledges the subtle genius at work. This is the hallmark of great wuxia storytelling. The stakes are epic, but the victories are as much about wit and timing as about overwhelming force. So we are left with a tantalizing question. Can the cunning and insight of a single cultivator like Qin Mu turn the balance against seemingly insurmountable odds? And how will these shifts in the divine consciousness cage ripple back into the chaotic battle above? The stage is set for more legendary confrontations, where the collision of spirit, strategy, and sheer willpower will decide the fate of gods and men alike. Imagine a world where the very earth trembles beneath your feet, where ancient powers awaken from the soil itself, and where the line between life and death is ruled not by chance, but by the strength of your divine consciousness. Today, we step into such a realm, as Qin Mu faces a confrontation that could shake the foundations of heaven and earth itself. The scene begins with a tense calm, abruptly shattered by the arrival of the Earth Mother Primordial Lord, an entity not bound by mere authority, but born from the Tao of heaven and earth itself. Picture her rising from the depths, roots tearing through the soil, colossal and awe-inspiring, surrounded by the instinctive reverence of ancient beasts. These creatures, once formidable in their own right, fall to their knees at her presence, revealing the unimaginable scale of her influence. In the world of Xianxia, control over such primordial beings isn't a matter of might, it's a matter of origin. The Earth Mother is not a conqueror, she is the natural ruler, the embodiment of heaven and earth, and only a few beings like Long Xiao can even hope to command such power. Qin Mu, trapped within the protective confines of Long Xiao's divine sense cage, faces an extraordinary challenge. His cage, once unbreakable, begins to shudder under the assault of the Earth Mother's newly forged supreme treasure, the hand of the Supreme Emperor, now weaponized and terrifyingly potent. This moment is a brilliant showcase of the Xianxia principle that even seemingly insurmountable defenses can be undermined by the right combination of cultivation, divine treasures, and sheer willpower. What makes this chapter fascinating isn't just the display of raw power, it's Qin Mu's strategy. He releases the Supreme Emperor from his ancient seal, not out of mercy, but to rebalance the scales. It's a masterstroke of tactical cultivation, using one ancient, unpredictable force to counter another. The Supreme Emperor's head, free and commanding, asserts control over the beasts, shifting the battlefield in an instant. This is Xianxia at its most cerebral. Battles aren't just fought with fists or sword intent. They are fought with foresight, manipulation, and understanding the intricate hierarchies of power. Emotionally, the tension is palpable. Qin Mu's calm in the face of the Earth Mother's terrifying presence reflects his deep understanding of balance, restraint, and the subtle arts of divine manipulation. And yet, there is danger. The roots erupting from the earth, the overwhelming might of the Supreme Emperor's hand, the volatile nature of primordial entities. Every action carries monumental consequences. A single misstep could shatter the fragile equilibrium and consume all involved. The narrative escalates with Qin Mu's reverse summoning divine art, connecting his consciousness across space to summon allies from afar. Here we see a recurring Xianxia theme, the cultivation of connections, the binding of allies and power through ritual and divine intent. Figures long thought distant now appear, not through brute force, but through the profound mastery of summoning runes and spiritual networks. It's a striking reminder that in this world, strength is as much about intelligence, preparation, and spiritual resonance as it is about raw martial prowess. Yet, even as Qin Mu orchestrates this remarkable summoning, the Earth Mother strikes back, her roots reaching across space and time, ensnaring him in a colossal grasp. The struggle is both literal and symbolic, man versus the primordial, ingenuity against raw, eternal power. And then, with a dramatic flourish, the allies arrive, Prince Yuming, Wei Suifeng, and the dragon Qilin, turning what seemed like an imminent defeat into a showcase of strategic ingenuity and the power of well-timed intervention. What does this chapter teach us about Xianxia storytelling? First, that authority and origin can eclipse even the strongest mortal cultivation. Second, that intelligence and timing often decide outcomes more than brute strength. And third, that alliances, divine arts, and the clever use of ancient relics are key to surviving and thriving in a universe defined by gods, beasts, and cosmic laws. So, as Qin Mu and his allies prepare to confront the Earth Mother Primordial Lord directly, we are left to wonder, can a mortal's ingenuity truly counterbalance a primordial deity's birthright? Or is this just the beginning of a larger reckoning, one that will test the limits of divine consciousness, loyalty, and the very structure of the world itself? Stay with me, because the next clash promises to be a spectacle where strategy, emotion, and cosmic power collide in ways that will define legends.